Hi
Hey,
guys. We
hey,
made
hey.
it together on a Tuesday.
We did.
All right.
Yes, this is Dale.
And this is Tay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the Jones
Yes, we
sisters.
are. And we're back.
We're back. So we're gonna talk about some things that we've been eating to try and stay within Fonte's caloric range,
Yes.
and also for just to be healthy and try to cut out some of the carbs and sugars. So anybody who knows me knows that I am a sugar fanatic. I am one of those who put sugar on their grits. Yes, I am. And I love tea. So I love hot tea. I love sweet tea. Um, and I've been trying to cut back on how much sugar I actually use. I know I was using an obscene amount of sugar on everything, so I've been more conscientious of how much sugar I use. Before I didn't measure, I just scooped. Now at least I know, okay, this big cup of tea can use just 2 spoons of sugar instead of pouring the sugar in there and then stirring it. Find out later it's too sweet. So I've been more mindful of my sugar intake. I've been more mindful of how much salt I've been using. I don't really care to cook much, but when I do it, and if I'm cooking for other people, I want to make sure that I'm not over seasoning the foods. So um, I think I've become more mindful of that. So some of the things, most dishes that I like to make are either breakfast dishes or anything with chicken. But lately I've been doing more seafood items. So and I've been trying to cut out a lot of pork, which is a issue for me because I love bacon and breakfast is my favorite food of the day. So I can eat breakfast all 3 meals of my day. But a lot of the times it's with pork items. So I've been trying to find other things I can eat that are enjoyable that do not consist of pork. I'm not saying that I'm not going to eat pork. I'm just saying I'm trying to limit how many meals I have that consist with pork items in it. So this weekend for breakfast, I made shrimp and grits, and it's filling and it's delicious. Um, and then last night I made pan seared salmon using olive oil. And I don't believe I use any salt, but I use some seasonings that contained a little bit of salt in it. Um, but not too much. So it would taste very delicious. Like you could still taste.
You actually taste
the food, instead of
salt.
the seasonings. And Tay loves to cook. And her food's always delicious.
First and foremost, pause. I don't love to cook. I cook because I have to.
Well, she's a very good cook. So her meals are generally delicious. And her her profession is caring for elderly or private duty care. So she has mastered the art of cooking without using a lot of salts or sugars because a lot of times they're unable to eat foods that are high in salt or in sodium or high too sweet. So she's mastered the art of cooking flavorful foods without it being overly seasoned. So I've just been trying to follow her lead in how I season my foods.
Who, me?
I still haven't mastered the art of making vegetables delicious. So I leave the vegetable dishes to her and our cousin Lena.
Yeah, I have to say, Miss D, Delana, I received a lot of inspiration from her as far as how she cooks her vegetables because she will throw everything. When I tell y'all, everything in the cabinet in a dish, and you like, I don't know about this. And then when you taste it, it's good. And so She's actually one of the individuals who's helped us to see that kale tastes good when it's cooked. Because I used to have to drink kale in smoothies with JJ's smoothies, and only thing that would really take away that flavor was like when you mix pineapple or mango, mixed it in there, and it would kind of or banana, it would kind of take away some of that bitterness of kale. And I would say, oh goodness, I just can't see. I hate this vegetable. And one day, she cooked kale, and with some, I think at the time we had turkey Italian sausages actually. And she made a whole dish with it. And when I tell y'all,
tomatoes, she had stewed tomatoes. And mushrooms,
she had onions in there.
Yeah, she had a lot of stuff in it. And I am not a big combination food person.
No, she's not.
So first of all, I need to know what's in there. I need to be able to see and know what's in there. And also it has to smell good. And kale still does not have a great smell.
Right.
So she really forced me to taste it.
Yeah.
She's like, just taste it. Just taste it. And so the flavor from the Italian sausages mixed with the flavorings that she put in them in the dish, it really helped to overpower the taste of kale. But then, she didn't really use a lot of salt either.
Right. And there was a lot of she loved, again, she was gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink in it. And so that means different spices, different herbs she's gonna use to kind of beef up the flavor. And it was good. It was delicious to the point where now I at least have kale in something else. I've done kale and shrimp. Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. I've done the kale and Italian sausages, whether pork or turkey. I've done just the kale and then had a cooked kale and then the side with the salmon. I think the one time I did that. So I've almost every week I've incorporated cooked kale into one of my dinners. And I love it. It's good. It's roughage. It's good. It's good fiber. So, I mean, that's one vegetable that we have just really incorporate, and I'm going to continue to, because I'm still blown away that kale can actually taste good. And actually, here's the kicker. Now, when the kale is mixed in with a smoothie or with fruit, it tends to be bitter. However, when you cook kale and you mix it in with meat, the sweetness of it actually comes up. It's crazy. But anyway, it definitely has a better taste cooked. So I would say for anyone who's like, kale cooked? What?
And it's just sauteed.
It's just sauteed
with a little.
You can put some water in there. I put water because you do want to let it. You want to more so not boil, but you want to let it steam. And I put a little bit of olive oil on there, just drizzle it to give it still some. I don't know. I just put it in there. I put it in there instead of putting butter.
Yes.
And it also too it helps with the flavor, and olive oil is really really good for you. So I just use that, and I use like garlic powder, garlic
salt.
No. I use mainly garlic powder, onion powder.
Yeah.
I put more so adobo in there.
Okay.
And that's the yellow one with the red top. I think that's like chicken.
What kind of pepper do you have?
Oh, I have this from Lawry's. They have a garlic pepper.
Yes.
When I seen this at the store, I said I have to have it now. Now it was like $4 for a small bottle, but I was like, I got to try it.
You don't have to use a lot.
You don't have to use a lot of it at all, and I do believe it has salt. So it's kind of like a garlic pepper salt mixture that you add that. You don't have to add anything else really to your dish. You could add that and let it go. And plus that's your business, okay? That's why you can add it. But and so you can add, sometimes I add paprika, sometimes I add thyme in there. If I want to make it a little bit more herby, you can add some oregano, you can add whatever seasonings that you normally like to put on vegetables or even meats. Because I like to mix mine with different type of poultry or seafood. I season it like I would, honest to goodness, like I would season those types of meats or poultry or whatever. When I did the shrimp, I did more of an obey of my seasoning. I still use some garlic powder and onion powder, but I put obey seasoning in it. And I don't know if anybody else has tasted obey by itself lately. It's been kind of a bit on the salty side, so you do not need to add anything. Please don't add no salt into it. It will be enough. And it also, Obey has that spice to it as well. So it's kind of a really well-rounded seasoning. You put that, some garlic powder, some onion powder, boom. And mix that in with the shrimp. It was delicious. Try it. Just try it.
So I know a lot of people, especially people who are working towards cutting out meat from their diet, they talk a lot about mushrooms.
And this is the perfect dish for that.
And so we used to eat mushrooms on our pizza. Yeah. We would eat mushrooms in our spaghetti. We would have...
Oh, you're right.
We would have ground beef, rice, and gravy with mushrooms in it. But we never thought to use that as like a meat filler or a meat substitute. But with a lot of the vegetable dishes that we've been making lately, and even when we periodically have Alfredo, we will add a lot of mushrooms. With
it makes the meal.
It makes it hearty, and it does. It's kind of like a meat substitute.
It is.
Because it really does take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking. It is chewy. But I still enjoy having my shrimp and the clams and the scallops in the Alfredo. I have moved. I think I've become bougie with my taste as I've gotten a little older. Because of course we love chicken Alfredo. I'm all for chicken dishes. But once I had seafood Alfredo, I was hooked. Now, I can't have shellfish, like I can't have crabs and lobster or anything like that, but I will have like some imitation crab meat in it sometimes. But I've even moved away from that a lot and just use shrimp and mushrooms and clams and scallops. So mushrooms are a great filler for dishes. For any dish.
I use when I'm making asparagus.
Oh yes.
I love to put mushrooms in that. It helps. Literally, once you put mushrooms, if you put enough mushrooms in that dish, you could just eat that dish and just be like, okay, I've ate, I'm fine. But I normally don't say that's just fine because that's a side dish. I still keep it as a side dish. And I'll pan sear some chicken
or salmon
with it to go with it. It's just
if you come in here and taste cooking, it smells like you're about to have a meal from a restaurant. It smells delicious in the kitchen.
Oh, thank you.
I tell people when you have our meals, unless it's one of my specialties, I cook for survival. Tay cooks out of love. So my meals sometimes may be delicious. They sometimes may taste good. But you've had a meal. You're trying to work towards loving what I'm doing while I'm in there, but I'm not much of a kitchen person. I am not much into standing over the stove.
She's gotten better.
I have gotten better, especially with pan searing. Now that I realize, well, one, I was never much into frying foods anyway when I cooked. I was not much into it, so. A lot of stuff that I made was baked or broiled, or it was like a dish that could be made within a half an hour and I could come in and out the kitchen. But once I started watching Tay's pan seared meats and see how delicious they were, I did started incorporating pan searing. Or I put in my request for pan searing.
Yeah, she put her request quite a bit. But the reason why I used to bake a lot, because one, I used to be like, all right, fine, I don't got to think about it. You put it in the oven, you put some aluminum foil on top of it. Bomb. But I mean, good. You can walk away. It's just and forget about it. Honest to goodness, for the most part. But I started pan searing foods because one, I was like, wait, it could be done half the time. Because, normally if you put it in the oven, it's going to take twice the time as it would on the stove. Mm-hmm. So I said, wait, let me start pan searing some things. Also, the flavor. To me, I love the flavor that you can get from a pan sear. You don't even always have to be. You don't have. That's when I started using olive oil a lot as well, because I was trying to figure out other ways. Like, I don't want to use butter. I don't want to, especially with Randall, can't use butter, or I don't want to use so much that she tastes it. So I said, what can be used? And so I actually went online, and they were raving about olive oil this, olive oil that. And I said, hold on, let me try that. And so you cannot, if anybody cooks with olive oil, you really cannot taste it. Like, once it's cooking, and I'm not talking about ounces of olive oil. I'm talking about a drizzle just to get the pan coated. And by the time you coat the pan, then it'll coat some of your vegetables or some of your meat enough to you just want a light layer. You don't want it drowning in it. So,
and I also was not much of a steak person.
Right.
And then
I still tear up some steak. I don't know. I don't know
and then we wanted to try and cook more at home, so we bought a variety of meats.
Right.
And we had some steaks, and those steaks were so good.
Yeah.
They were so
delicious. Some crock pot, y'all.
Tay put hers. Did you put mine in the air fryer?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, mine's in the air fryer. It was so good and juicy. That's another thing. I've been learning how to use the air fryer a lot more for different dishes.
When I say y'all been tearing up that air fryer, oh, you got some baked chicken? Put it in the air fryer. Y'all think I'm playing too? If y'all have an air fryer and you bake some chicken and you're like, oh, I want some crisp. I miss, because sometimes when you're on this journey, you do miss that crisp, or at least having that crunch when you bite into certain foods. I tell y'all, still cook it in the oven. You can still pan sear it because you want the juiciness of it. But pop it in the air fryer. Not too long though. You don't want to put it because it will dry it out.
Yeah.
But pop it in there enough for the outside or the coating to get crisp. Or enough, about 5 minutes. When I tell y'all, you talking about something delicious. I am talking about something muy bien, okay? Okay, I'm talking about something very good. And also, I used to, even for my wings, okay, y'all, we would go out and to eat. I would purposely order wings and only eat a few, and I'll say, oh no, I'm taking them home. Take them home, put them in the air fryer. Y'all, the skin would be all crunchy. Food be, and the flavors have marinated. Mm-hmm. Child, please. They thought I was playing until I allowed them to taste some of that chicken that I was putting in the air fryer. And now everybody like, well, put mine in the air fryer. Y'all. So our tips today is how to make your vegetables tasty, how to really enjoy your healthy food. Yes. You still, even though you're eating healthy, that does not mean that your food has to be blah. Or that it just doesn't have any flavor. It doesn't have to be. And if you're on a diet where you're restricted for sodium purposes, then you really want to use your herbs and spices. That's where you're going to get a lot of your flavor from. Excuse me. And then also, don't forget Mrs. Dash or something. Mrs. Dash is a really good seasoning. Mm-hmm. I think they use, like, if they have salt in theirs, it's like that coarse salt, so it's like that hard. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but for my clients who have sodium issues, I normally use that, and it provides a lot of flavor, but not a lot of salt. So there are definitely ways to enjoy your food.
And I've been trying to cut back a lot on bread and not eat French fries. Like, I'm not a big fry eater, but periodically I will eat French fries. I've cut out a lot of mashed potatoes. Like, I eat it at school with the kids. But as far as at home or when I go out, I try to order like double vegetables, or even at home, especially for dinner, we don't cook a lot of carbs with our meals. My goal, I would like to learn how to make keto desserts. Now, I'm not much with cooking, but I used to like to bake sometimes because I do like sweets. So my goal is to try to learn how to make some keto desserts because I don't want to just be stuck eating meat and vegetables every
Well,
night
no.
or every
Well,
day and not having a dessert from time to time. I've been doing pretty good about eating like a fruit. Like if I want
right.
something sweet,
Right.
eating a fruit or having a cup of tea. And sometimes that suffices. Tonight was the first time I had a cup of tea with Splenda.
I don't recommend.
I
I'm
would
not gonna lie
rather
to
not.
y'all. Not lie to
I
y'all.
was like, okay, I tried it. I can't do that. I'm not a big fan of sweet and low and all of those sugar substitutes.
Ooh.
I will try to start using agave and raw sugar. Now, raw sugar work better for tea, I think, for hot tea. So I will start to try to use raw sugar and agave. But not a fan of Splenda.
I'll say this: when it comes to tea, no, you cannot use a sugar substitute. Please do not.
I used to use honey a lot more when I had tea, but we ran out of honey, I think. So I just used the Splenda because my mom loves Splenda. She lives by it. So I was like, it can't be that bad. She has it all the time with her teas and coffee.
Who?
It was
coffee.
But
okay, Splenda is okay for coffee. It is not okay for tea. I'm telling you, and I know some people say, well, it has all those different bad things in it. Listen, that's for a whole nother day, a whole nother time. I'm not going to be arguing with nobody about no sweetness. If you don't want it, that's your business. Don't use it, okay? But as for my mama, she don't want Splenda, that's she going to use. But as far as, now that's something good. Now I have this entire week. Child, it's only been a few days. Anyway, but if there's no sugar, there's no carb thing, boy. Y'all, it feel like a whole week has gone by already, y'all. No, but I will say this though. It amazes me when you're looking at food and the nutritional facts about your food that you're eating. And you say, oh, well, I'm not going to consume carbs. And you think, oh, by just consuming a salad, you're fine. Well, let me give you a little hint. Iceberg lettuce has carbs in it, okay? Has sugar. There's actually kale as well, has a certain amount of sugar content. Now let's be clear. Normally, the sugar content is just coming from the naturalness of that vegetable, right, or of that fruit. It's not coming from added sugar or them putting additives in there. So because I have been eating vegetables, then I am still getting some form of carbs in, which I believe is a good thing. I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm not consuming any carbs, and I'll tell you why. Because I still want my body to know how to digest carbs properly. I still want my body to know how to process sugar. So, with me saying that, there are times that I will restrict a lot of carbs. But when I say restricting carbs, I'm talking about breads, rice, high starchy vegetables, pastas, things of that nature. Because I will still consume fruit. I still will consume vegetables because your body needs that. And I believe by still giving my body vegetables and the fruit, it will not go haywire and start craving so many of the processed sugars, and then I'm just gorging on processed sugars because I eliminated sugars completely. So that's what I mean by, as far as low carbs, what I'm doing, I'm specifically trying not to consume more than 20 grams of carbs a day. Now they tell you to be in ketosis I do believe it's between consuming no more than 50 grams of carbs a day. But me being who I am and starting this journey over again, I wanted to go down to 20 because I'm really trying to clean my body of the processed sugars and get all that out. So I haven't even consumed really fruit this week. It's more so I've been getting some carbs from my vegetables that I've been consuming. Also, too, again, nutritional facts. Why I had a turkey smoked sausage. Didn't even think. I said, "Oh, I know ain't no carbs in here." Alex Trebek has determined that is a lie. Or who said somebody's
Unless
lie? I
you
don't know.
on the
Somebody,
wrong
I'm on the
person.
wrong person. But anyway, he said that's a lie. Because I looked in there and it still had 6 grams of carbs in it. So it's still, there are various things that you think. You automatically think, oh, that's all protein. That's nothing. No, no, no. Look at your labels. Pay attention to them. And not be afraid of them and what you're going to see, but just be aware of what you are consuming. Like I said, I do allow myself to at least up to 20 grams. And it has been working for me. And I feel good. I don't feel like I'm going to cheat. My mom wanted to go out and eat today. Y'all, she always do this to me. Okay. I said, Mama, I'm trying. I'm trying to be good, but you know what I can say successfully? I had these 4 wings and I had some clam chowder, and the clam chowder did not even have, it had like 1 potato in there, I think. I don't even think it had that in there, honest to goodness. If anybody's had clam chowder, you know, normally it kind of comes with a lot of potatoes. It did not. I specifically asked for them not to put that in there, to put it in mine anyway, on my dish. So I had a lot of clams and just literally the chowder, and it was great. Yes, I was crying on the inside a little bit because I seen everybody in the restaurant having their pasta. I mean, pasta this, pasta that.
Where did you go?
I went to Bahama Breeze. Let me tell you, that's my place, okay?
I would have been crying.
I normally
really wanted.
Normally, I get the jerk chicken pasta, and anybody who's ever going, you know it is delicious. However, and my mom had the nerve. Mama putting you on blast. So when you watch this, yes, I'm talking about you. She had the nerve to get the seafood linguine Alfredo. She really did that to me, y'all. But I stuck to my guns and I said no, no, no. Because the thing is, I have to find a regimen. I have to find what's going to be good for me for a lifetime journey. Now, there are going to be times that in the future, I'm saying the future, because right now I can't afford to have the carbs. I can't afford to have all that pasta. And I know me, if I had a plate of it, I wouldn't have stopped eating it, okay? So because I know that's my mindset towards pasta, I'm not even going to start even eating a little bit of it. Nope. I am going to stick to my guns, and I am going to stick to the eating plan that is going to help me. So right now, pasta ain't it for me. And I have to be okay with that. As long as I want to reach my goals, I have to be okay with that. Also, even while I am doing this low carb, I still am sticking to the 1650. I have noticed though, because I'm not consuming the carbs, my calorie intake has dropped significantly. Yesterday, I only consumed 1,200 calories, or a little bit above that. Today, only reason why I bumped it up is because I had the wings and it was from a restaurant and they calculate all of that. Other than that, I still had about 835 I think calories left for dinner, and I had kale and some Italian sausages. So that's not even going to take up all of my calorie intake. So that is the one thing I will say. When you limit your carbs, you actually already kind of put yourself in a place of lowering or having a calorie deficit. But I also have to be mindful. I don't want it to drop too low. Some days I understand it's going to be lower, and that's actually fine. But that next day I do want to make sure I boost it back up, back closer to that 1600, because I don't want my body to get so used to that low calorie intake.
And I'm still sticking to my water, guys.
Yes, I stick to my water.
Sticking to my guns with this water.
Unfortunately I haven't drunk. It's crazy because I don't know what's wrong with me. Lately, these last few days, it's been harder to consume the whole 64 ounce of water. But water's the only thing I drink. So that's why I'm confused. Like, girl, you gotta get something in your body, because you're only drinking water, but you're not even consuming that. So I do have to push myself more. Tonight, I did purchase some more water too, so that I can make sure I drink. I'm getting in my water like I need to.
We have to make it fancy. We're gonna have to make us some infused water. Throw us some lemons in there. Maybe if we start drinking out of pitchers and glasses,
I guess
it'll be more what is that, appealing?
Yeah, because you're right. Because at the restaurant, I had 2 whole cups of water, like it was nothing.
Drinking with our pinkies up.
With a little lemon.
We gotta make it fancy, guys. Yeah. But leave, like, share, comment. Yeah. Leave some of your favorite dishes or things that you try, that you've tried and enjoy eating that are low carb, low sugar, low sodium. Yeah. And some recipes or links to other recipes in our comment section. We love that you guys have been riding with us so long and so far, and continue.
And hopefully we can expand our subscribers. So if y'all watching this video, don't just be watching. I don't even care if you don't like the video. I don't care if you don't like the video. I don't care if you don't like her. We don't care. Hit that subscribe button. You understand me? Hit that daggone subscribe.
One day you'll find something that you like.
Share with your grandmama, your mama, your aunt, your dad, your uncle, your cousins, my cousins, shoot, my nieces and nephews, your nieces and nephews. Your child, just share it, subscribe, talk about it. I don't care. I don't listen. I don't care. Just hit the like button or the like button. I don't care. Just subscribe. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day or evening whenever
the rest of the week, and we will be back on Saturday.
Period.
Bye.
Bye, guys.